Today in the crypto space, we see Bitcoin looking a bit slumpy, right around 105,000. However, Ethereum still showing strength, right around 2,600 and still within range for that bull flag. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, a bit hesitant, waiting for Ethereum. Give us the signal. Are we moving out of the bull flag to the upside, or are we going to retrace through the volume gap below so that we can buy the dips? In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about a project that many have been asking me about in the last 48 hours, and that project is called HBAR. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunity, whether we go up or down, bearish, bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with this market, because at the end of the day, we are tracking and we're following Bitcoin and Ethereum. And these videos on a daily basis are tough. The reason being is all eyes are on the heavyweights. You know, we could be talking about other altcoins. We could be looking at, you know, the Solanas, the BNBs, and the Cardanos, and the Solanzos, and the Chainlinks, and the Suis, and all of the rest. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, if Bitcoin shows weakness, we're going to see bits of pullbacks throughout the market. However, we do see Ethereum showing tons of strength here. And the question is, if Bitcoin continues within this range and maybe dips a little further, how is Ethereum going to respond? Today, we got a bit of a dip on Bitcoin. It looked pretty ugly, was pretty, aggressive. In the sense, we also got a quick buy up back to about 105,000. Guys, we're going to take a look at the Bitcoin chart in a second. Of course, we'll take a look at Bitcoin. We'll take a look at the general market. We'll scrape through the top 100 just to get a sense of what the market is looking like today. And then we'll talk about HBAR. HBAR, at the end of the day, guys, it's a project that I've been looking at for a good while. You know, at the end of the day, whether you like the fundamentals or not, there are a lot of individuals looking at HBAR and talking about HBAR. The community is there. So this is why I'm here making a video, because ultimately I've been asked quite a bit about it in the last 48 hours. So why not give it a bit of a look? So let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with the top 100. We do see that, generally speaking, the volume is still kind of stagnant, right? We got the market cap rising a little bit here on a slight uptrend. And then we got the trading volume going stagnant again. Unfortunately, guys, we need market participation here. We need action, whether it be trading, trading volume, whereas we see distribution or distribution and redistribution, essentially rotation amongst one another, keeping the market cap right around $3.4 trillion. However, we can also get volume in the sense that we get more market cap coming in, where we have more capital coming in, getting above the 3.4, getting to 4, 5, 6 trillion dollars. Who knows how high we go, but we need a bit of volume with regardless. That's the only way we're going to be able to trade this market healthily, or else, guys, there's no volatility. And when there's no volatility, we get very choppy price action. And when we get very choppy price action, guys, it is very difficult to catch an edge. And right now, I would say the last week have been super difficult to be trading. So take it easy, guys. We'll get our moments when easy mode comes along, and then we'll definitely see some good moves. Right now, we are seeing Bitcoin slightly looking like it wants to roll over. I'm not calling it a rollover just yet, because really we're at 105,000, guys. I think a healthy target is right around 102 for a dip, maybe as low as 101, but as long as we're right around 105 where we are right now, going sideways, we're still okay. Ethereum, on the other hand, is still looking great. In the last 24 hours, okay, it's up 1%, no big deal. It did dip down a little bit, but nothing major, and ultimately holding its range like a champion. And because of this, we do see a lot of altcoins holding steady as well. Like, they're not rallying or anything, and they're not dumping or anything. Like, we're not getting much, like Sui down 2%. Right, and then we have Tron up 1%, and you get what I mean. Like, really, give or take 1 or 2% up or down. AVAX down 2.5%, and you can see, there are some others. So I would say, yeah, it's a little slumpy today in general, but nothing major, because the majority of these projects are only down 2% on average, if anything. We got some others dipping a little bit. Trump coming down 4, Fed coming down 2. Okay, 3% here, quant up 3%. Generally speaking, we do see a little bit of more red than green, and there's some randoms that are doing better than others. But, guys, this is the reality, guys. A 2% dip is not a big thing. Now, could it translate into something bigger? It can. It can. Farcoin down 11%. The reality is it can, and we need to be prepared for that, because momentum right now on Bitcoin is definitely in favor of a downturn. Now, if we can neutralize that bearish momentum, that's awesome. Obviously, in those case scenarios, we see the price go sideways when the negativity finishes and we neutralized it. We get oversold, and then we continue to the upside after we get oversold. Sometimes we get oversold and price action continues going sideways. And that whole idea of neutralizing that negativity gives us divergence, right? It gives us divergence. Price action going sideways while momentum is on a downtrend. That's divergent. Class B bullish divergences are great for continuations as well. Class A is everything. We look for these divergences on a daily basis. All right, guys, so that's that. The general market is slightly, a little bit red today, but nothing crazy. Let's take a look at Bitcoin, guys. I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with Bitcoin, because ultimately we're all looking at the heavyweights, Bitcoin and Ethereum. To be honest, lately I've been focusing on Ethereum a lot more, because ETH will give us that signal. ETH right now is up approximately 1.5% in the last day, in the last 24 hours, which is great. And ultimately we could see Ethereum lead the way here as Bitcoin finds its footing. What that means is that Bitcoin could go sideways for a little longer, and Ethereum could play the catch-up game. In the meantime, we need to pay attention, because any dips on Bitcoin will cause Ethereum to dip, but any bounces on Bitcoin will cause Ethereum and the rest of the altcoin market to bounce harder if we are in an altcoin season. So it's time to pay attention, guys. Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. So we do have some things to pay attention to. Number one, the volume gap. Right here, guys, that's the weak spot in this chart. We see an imbalance in the chart. You can see when it went straight up without much happening here. A lot of buy pressure, and that's fine. We love the impulses, we love the pumps, but ultimately those pumps leave weak spots, and this is it. The next level of liquidity, like I've been mentioning the last little while, is right around 98 to maybe as low as coming down right through here. How much liquidity can we actually hustle is now down to 92,500 or something like that, right? It's clear, guys. Look at the emotions right here. There's lots of them. So what we are really hoping for is that we can hold a little bit steady here. And you can see the logic. The logic is, there's market participation here. Yes, there's not much volume on a downtrend, as you can see. We're still, tapering off that volume, but really what we want to do is hold and stay above this horizontal level. Again, that's 102,500. We are currently at about 105,000. Today we dipped down to about, I would say, 104, 103 and change, something like that. At the end of the day, nothing happened. Okay, really, we're still okay, because we did not break below this bottom. This one right here, this bottom needs to hold. If it doesn't, guys, again, we need to embrace for a bit of impact. You can see there's that volume gap. If you exclude this price action looking left, you just look at this rally up. There's a massive imbalance right in here that could allow the price to fall. And we need to prepare for that, right? That's the name of the game, guys. Game of probability. What are you going to do about it if it falls? Are you ready to deploy? What projects are you looking at? Is your watch list ready and well thought of and well researched, and so on and so forth? Because Bitcoin has been doing great, but I honestly feel, based on this scenario, nice, beautiful, rounded bottom, that if we go sideways here, a lot of people are going to be calling cup and handle and eventually looking for that breakout. One level at a time, guys. We're definitely going to take a look at this on a daily basis. But right now, it's about Bitcoin holding steady while Ethereum leads the way. And that's the thesis that I'm going for. And that's what I'm going to be tracking in the next little while, guys. If you appreciate that and you think that's interesting, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at, guys. There's lots of alpha there. The community's hot, strong, and we go through the charts on a daily basis, even when, there's nothing really happening there. We are definitely there for to support one another and educate each other and help each other, again, focus on a strategy that keeps us one step ahead. All right, guys, let's continue. What else we got? Bitcoin doing its thing. Let's take a look at momentum quick. Let's see. what momentum is showing, guys, I can't deny the fact that momentum looks ugly. Okay, let's just be real about this. We're rolling over, you know, and it could get a full reset and get oversold eventually. And the key term here is eventually, because the market works in peaks and valleys, right? It doesn't happen in one green shot, one red shot to come down all the way. Now, if we can get a bullish response, and I've been waiting for this bullish response, right? On lower time frames, we discussed today's dip on the lower time frames for the bearish response. And guess what, guys? We got it. Right, which is fine. Fine, we got it. And the fact is that the daily's been oversold with volatility for a good while, which would be an ideal moment to actually get a bounce and see a bullish response. A bullish response of which we ideally make a higher high, right? Because a bullish response that makes a lower high, it could be a confirmation of the continuation of momentum, and momentum rolling over here and getting follow through with a red expansion coming in is not going to be a good look, because on the daily maybe we do get another dead cat bounce, but eventually that means that once we get oversold, the daily might push us down to lower levels, and again, we don't know how low we go, right? And it's totally fine even if you have the cup and handle thesis. As long as we don't retrace more than 50% of the cup, we're still okay. So we're going to get into a little bit more detail tonight at 8 p.m. guys, when I go live, talk about Bitcoin and all of that. But I just want to show you guys, you know, on the daily things don't look the greatest. Look at this divergence, you know, EMA is facing down, red histogram bars here on the daily. Still not a good look with momentum and trend oscillator. So that's that. And you know, lower time frames might give us bullish signals for a bit of relief, and then we'll see how those bullish signals translate within the structure to give us an edge for a continuation to the upside or a complete reversal to the downside as a change of character. Okay, so that's that. Let's take a look at HBAR. HBAR, at the end of the day, guys, a project that a lot of people have been asking me in the last little while. And of course, I like to keep up with what's going on, you know, what's buzzing, because really what the community is important, guys. It's not just about marketing. It's not just about tech. It's not just about the team. It's not just about tokenomics. It's not just about, you know, sometimes it's just, you know, what's buzzing. And buzzing at the end of the day is not bad, because it might catch some bids. Now, you know, I'm not crazy about this pump in the sense that the opportunity has come and gone, and you can see that we fell through the volume gap. But before we look at that, why do you think it's buzzing? Well, I think that this could be a really good news, a really good thing that the market is celebrating, and you know, holders are celebrating. Fortune 154 technology leader Arrow Global has joined HBAR Hedera council, which means that, you know, if you follow what HBAR really, their council is made up of many top companies, and they come in and they provide you know, a bit of governance there, and you know, in a decentralized way. But what you do is you have organizations, you know, getting seats in the council, and it sounds interesting, no doubt. It's a way of decentralizing and at the same time getting a bit of knowledge and expertise into HBAR with regards to business, economics, and so on, tech, and all the works. So it's not bad. It's a pretty cool idea. Nonetheless, you know, this was 5 days ago, and this is probably why I'm getting a bit of buzz. But ultimately, from a price action perspective, you can see that this is likely to become a dead cat bounce. And I don't like dead cat bounces. Why? Because that means that this becomes a change of character. And it definitely is. It's defined as one. Why? Because at one point we were making higher highs and higher lows. And then all of a sudden we got a confirmed lower high. And then all of a sudden we come down and get a confirmed lower low. So the likelihood is that we're in a downtrend on this little piece right here. Now the question is, how long is this downtrend going to last? You know, if we break below this bottom, guys, it's not a good look at all. It's not a good look. It's likely that we lose a lot of the gains here on HBAR. And I'm talking about the bearish thesis. Okay, the bearish scenario is a little clearer because it is clearly in a downtrend still, right? We didn't make any higher highs yet or higher lows, right? So we're still in a downtrend and continuing to sell off. And until we get, you know, some good structure of a reversal to the upside, we have to understand that the trend could be our friend downwards. And if we break below here, guys, we're going to hunt levels of liquidity, maybe down here, maybe even as low as down here. So I'm looking at a 10-cent, at worst case scenario, about 5 cents, and we're coming down to bear market bottoms. And don't forget, guys, this is where I got interested in HBAR. This is where I started accumulating HBAR. And then from there, I stopped making videos. I used to make videos once a week because of the price action looking good, volume looking good. And then once it started banging to the upside, it's time to like say, you know what, it's time to take profit. It's time to, enjoy the process now of being in the green. Now all of a sudden, the market's trying to punish individuals that didn't take profit. Remember, profit taking opportunities. Once you fly through the volume gaps and you consolidate, you have to put those stop losses in, because once you consolidate and you get a bit of a sell-off scenario, you break structure and you come down, and then you start looking for support. And that's where we start getting into the bullish case scenario, because the bearish case scenario is clean and clear. We continue, we break below here, we're coming down. First level, about 10 cents. Let me put an arrow in there so we can kind of keep an eye. I think that this is a very viable place to expect some support and emotion based on the previous level. You can see the volume right into here, and the volume gap below it, very emotional. And then tons of liquidity below at the bear market bottom zones. And again, I'm keeping an eye on it, because that would be an opportunity to reaccumulate if you have taken profits up here. So the next thing to look at is, what about any moment now that we do get a structure? 100%, guys. I'm not saying that that's where it's going to go. That is the point of interest. These are called point of interests. And real traders, what they do is they highlight points of interest that they would be actively looking for setups, right? In this area, I expect some sort of reaction, potentially a good setup. I might go in with a small bag blind, just buy a little bit, might do the same thing right here. But where I'm going to get more aggressive is where I start to see a structure at these point of interests that are interesting. And you can see I highlighted one right here a while back, and we are still there. Now let's zoom in. Let's kind of pay attention to what's really happening here, because we could be forming a structure. And that's more important than actually just going in blind, because if we do get a pivot point structure, a change of character right here, it might not be a bad scenario. I just feel like there's a little bit more work to be done here with regards to price action. And the reason being is because we didn't get a higher high or a higher low yet here on the daily time frame. So let me just clean this up just a little bit. Now you can see that we're potentially going to get a confirmation of a higher low here, and that would be absolutely epic. Okay, so what I also want to do while I'm doing this is I want to look at the oscillator. Why? Because it will give me a sense of what this represents. And you can see that at this point we were coming down. Momentum did kind of reset, didn't get fully reset, but it kind of did. And the reality is it didn't get oversold. Okay, it didn't drop below the 30. That's annoying, because I would like that to happen, because then you get that off your mind. You have that on, you check it off on your list. It's oversold. There's no more sell pressure. So the question is now, is this the dead cat bounce where we actually get oversold to ensure we get into that scenario where people sell off hard? And that's where you get blood on the streets. That's where you get them fire sale opportunities. That's where you can buy capitulation and emotion. And that's where you get the best opportunities. So the problem is that I am going to be reserved here, because I'm worried about what about if we do get oversold in a proper way. Let me just zoom in here for a second and show you what I mean in a little bit more detail. You can see that we just tagged the oversold. Okay, you want to classify it as oversold? Fine. But usually when we get oversold, we stay here a little longer, just a little longer. And that little longer gives us a great opportunity to DCA. Now we do see that, momentum did get slightly overbought. This price action is not that strong in both directions. So you'll notice that the price action is very sideways and indecisive. And this is why we're getting dead cat bounces after impulses, right? And at the end of the day, I would be more comfortable accumulating into this range if the purple line got here. But there's no guarantee that it's going to happen, but I would still be a lot more comfortable. Now, if this becomes a scenario where we're in an uptrend and we get another bullish response and we get overbought, guys, awesome. If you can DCA into these zones, the problem is that the daily is not giving us an edge with regards to momentum. We're not overbought or really oversold. So where's the edge? There is none. Okay, if you look at the trend oscillator, it gives you a little bit more of an indication. Number one, we're in an uptrend still from down here. We got many drives of bullish divergence, and we finally got into the bullish control zone right into here. And now we're in a retracement. We've gotten retracements before. Look at that right here, okay? And now we're in another one right now. Oh, that's fine. But look what happened after the last retracement, another leg. Do we get another leg and stay into the bullish control zone, potentially get up to here and get another purple expansion to the upside, similar to these purple expansions of the past? Is that possible? It does look like we are trending to the upside here, as you can see. So it's not bad. I just feel like what we need to do is be a bit patient here. So trend oscillator is a little bit more, telling than the momentum oscillator, but all good, guys. That's the way we have to use whatever data we have and what we can. Again, the major concern is if we make a lower low to continue this trend. That's the major concern. So what we need is more data. That's how what I would say. And ideally, no lower than here, of course. ideally we get down to maybe below the 0.5 fib. So let's use Fibonacci, swing low, swing high. We can see that right now we tagged the golden pocket fairly accurately, like almost spot on. Let me get rid of this line so we can see it a bit better. If I can, I guess not. It's below. Okay, let me just kind of move that out of the way, and let's get the fib levels back up. You can see that we hit and tagged the golden pocket really nicely, which is cool. Of course, very confluent zone, very telling zone with regards to Fibonacci traders. It is in the discount zone still, like, you know, it's below the 0.5 fib. And usually at these levels, especially when you have a clear invalidation like that one, I start doing 30, 30, 40. You know, especially on spot, because again, you don't want to take too much risk at this moment. We're still slightly in a downtrend without getting our footing yet, but we could get some support here, we could get some support here, and could get some support here. And doing a 30-30-40 rule there blindly on limit orders is not bad of a strategy. It works out. And of course, down here, you got to worry about invalidating this thesis and just understanding that if we fall, we're coming down, and who knows how low we go in that case, right? One level at a time. But if you start going on lower time frames, you might be able to catch some data or get some confluence to suggest a reversal here. So let's get onto the 4-hour. And again, market structure tells us this is a clear change of character, a clear distribution, and guys, very successful distribution, as you can see. Beautiful. Now, all of a sudden, do we continue this downtrend, making lower lows and lower highs? And as I mentioned, it is a downtrend. So what are we going to use? What kind of data could we use to kind of see a change of character, a change of direction of the trend? Well, based on market structure, we need to change character. Okay, so no more lower lows and lower highs. What we want is a higher low and then a higher high, and then a higher low and then a higher high. We need at least one higher low or at least one higher high, depending on what comes first. We could take a higher high first. That's fine. Let's go up, higher high, break above this one, come down for a higher low. I'm down for that, and then continue to the upside. Whatever it is, but we need a higher high or a higher low, and something needs to give here. Until we break this cycle of lower lows and lower highs, we need to have the uptrend. And as soon as that happens, this will be defined as a change of character. Now, in the 4-hour, we did go oversold, which was pretty nice. We got our bearish response. Again, the bearish response that I've been talking about since last night, the night before, talking about waiting for the bearish response today, and we finally got it. So maybe by tomorrow, we could see a bullish response, or maybe see some exhaustion from the bears. I'm hoping that we don't see that signal too late, because the weekend is going to be around the corner very soon. Time flies, guys. As you know, tomorrow's already Thursday, and then what happens is the market tends to wrap itself up before on Friday for the weekend price action, and that's where it's like you don't want to get into any fresh positions to get locked up in over the weekend. So, you know, this is the issue here, guys. You know, we're at a level where HBAR could be looking for its foundational support for a reversal to the upside and calling this a higher low and not making a lower low. Again, back to the daily time frame, not lower, nothing lower than this right here. Okay, guys, so it is a level of interest, no doubt. It's a level of where we need to pay attention to market structure, because it could pivot for that reversal, but it needs a little bit more data. And again, small bags, DCAing is probably the best way to do it until we get the structure, so you can build with more conviction and more strength. And then obviously, if based on your risk tolerance, deploy more capital. All right, guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor, slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.